Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of Rise and Play. Continuing on the series of covering leadership themes in a work that appear through the coaching, through the leaders I work with, and sitting with different leaders from the gaming industry. It won't always be a gaming industry and as well coaches. So for you listening, you can practice your self-coaching in a way, or some bits that we will share today, and do your own journaling and get some reflection, especially at the end of the year. So for today, we touch on a theme that has emerged quite a lot through coaching, working closely with women, especially. And I would say it also touches on what's going on for men, but we will focus here on more of the themes for women leaders, on the fear of becoming you. That's a funny one because as I work with women and they want to grow, they want to rise, they want to transform, they want to go to the next level, what I found the ceiling has been, I want to grow, but I don't want to lose myself. I don't want to become someone. I don't want to become my manager. I don't want to become angry feminist, losing some parts of myself. So there's a paradox. There's a desire to grow because we feel something is off, misaligned, so we want to change something. But there's a fear of unfolding and covering what will appear and changing many things in the lives. So that blocks many to not do anything, be in paralysis analysis, and down the line, things stay the same until the pain is so big. Then women actually rise to, like, I'm really done. It's enough is enough, and now I'm going to do whatever it takes to tackle this whatever monster that I've been dealing with the past years once and for all. So that's the topic we want to address today. Through Orin, now also Maria is part of a team with Orin, so it's been also a great evolution and transformation, which we will cover. We will cover the question, what's going on for you, Maria? And then also I'm happy to share this process I've been through because, yes, it's been a hell of a year. It's not been even a year since I launched Orin, but my God, I think I have experienced 3 lifetime in a year, and that's been amazing. It's a complete different sense of time, but I have definitely let go and died all identities through this process, still in the process of it now, but I'm happy to talk about. But let's start with you, Maria. This year has been also a big transformation. One I can comment on, you move location, and it's not a small change. We talked about it in the previous episodes. But then a lot of invisible work has been the inner work of transformation and becoming more you, I guess. So how has been the process for you? If you could share,
Yeah, I resonated so much with what you said, where you have a lot of fears and you keep pushing away the walking into yourself, becoming you, until the pain is just so big that you can't ignore it and it starts manifesting through your body. This process of becoming myself has been quite scary. And I'm glad I have a support system. So many people in my life I knew that we were friends and family, but they really showed up for me to support me through this process because it is really tough. There's so many endings that happen, and you have to know how to just let them feel the pain so that you can, through the ending, reach a new beginning. And so I actually had a question for you based on that.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering, something that I keep facing in my journey is, will people like me if I'm fully myself? Or will I just be alone because I'm too much? Are there parts of me, I have my boundaries, I'm just going to be myself fully, like all parts of me, which I find beautiful. But will I have friends? Will I have romantic partners? Will my current friends still like me by seeing parts of myself that maybe I repressed or hid because I was trying to get their acceptance and their validation? How do you deal with those thoughts?
It's one of the most difficult, the external presence. I call it presence through friends, crowd, even being integrated in a system, right? In society, in companies. The idea, of course, is not isolating yourself completely and become a monk. I mean, we live in a societal way. I love being around people. But I won't hide it. It is a process where you will recalibrate quite a lot in a relationship in your life. But the most relationship you recalibrate is the relationship to yourself. So there's one thing we don't see when we are choosing others. When we choose to be with others, even when they are not aligned with us, we abandon ourselves. So each time we choose to be in a job, in a relationship, maintaining friendship just because of the fear of being alone, we abandon ourselves. And that can be functioning for years, a whole lifetime, but it has a hidden cost. And the hidden cost is actually first how you are in your body, how you are connected with yourself. That's why statistically, why are we in a society right now that we get more awareness with everything to live well, materialistically, depression, anxiety, burnout, sense of loneliness, although we're surrounded. On a dating app, I can have the illusion of being liked by someone, but I'm still not loving myself through this. Why? Because it's a distraction. So the hardest part of this work is really first to choose yourself. And I'm not saying this in a selfish way, it's honor what you truly want. And for me, I have to say, I have been raised in a family, Asian culture, where you don't matter. Self sacrifice. It was ingrained, programmed so deeply in me that I'm in service of others and it doesn't matter what I need or want. So, great foundation to be a leader serving. But when you are over functioning and you don't even know who you are anymore, it has a cost. It has a cost. And for me, the cost was at some point, it was big misalignment, and not that I was in crisis, like I didn't go to hospital, had chronic diseases yet, but I could see that it was coming along the way. It was strong signals, crisis, like with a job, that was showing me something is off. So I've been on a few jobs during my gaming career where I had really, really painful events, panic attack, abrupt ending, traumatic ending. And I was like, something needs to change. If I keep going like that and run on that on steroids, I will end up in hospital. I knew it. Let's go through the whole path. Then who's going to be sad around me? My family, my parents, I think about them as well. I won't be able to continue with my mission, which is raising consciousness in leadership in business. I don't nurture myself, my own plant. I can't do any of that. And so that was really the moment where, yes, be selfish. If you want to take care of others, first take care of yourself and then honor yourself. So today, now, yes, I accept the consequences of what it is to be me. There's no other way of me being me. Building the relationship with yourself when you know and accept who you are, you need only one person to accept and love who you are. It's you. And the way we live, we do everything to get that love from outside of us. That's a fallacy. But even, when you lose friends, it's not like you lose friends. It's just reorganize in your life. And it gives space for the ones who are aligned. And I'm sure there are new people who came to your life or a relationship that have deepened because you created space for this alignment. And some of them have disappeared. And you forget about them after a while. How was that journey for you of losing? Is that really what you feared?
See, I didn't lose any friends. I think it deepened the friendships that I had, which made me happy because it did validate that I had the right people in my life who already knew me more than I knew myself at the time. And new people entered my life that I'm fully aligned with. And it happened so quickly. I thought it was going to take years to make new friends here in Lisbon, but I met so many fantastic people and very deep friendships formed quickly. Something that I've been exploring myself in the choose yourself, be yourself,
Mm-hmm.
because I love having fun. I had moments where I could have chosen fun, but it was not aligned with exactly what I needed. would give me immediate satisfaction, but I knew staying in those positions would slowly require pieces of myself to be given away. It was really hard to look at fun in the eyes. And you have to choose pain because you know deep down is not the right thing for you.
Mm,
And yeah, that was something I wasn't really prepared for because like it was fun. Actually, it's not.
mm. Yeah, I'm also in the process of that at the moment. I just came back from a business trip, business as usual, gaming, party, alcohol, late night, speaking loud, zero interest in your life. So it's interesting when you step away from this and you see like, oh my God, how could I have so much fun in that? And then I can see that it's not aligned anymore. Just realizing that, I think there's a process of grief, right? Because it's like you want to have fun like before, and then like have alcohol nights or whatever and be completely a wreck until the morning. I have had those nights in my past. And then it's like, I don't want to feel this way anymore. So facing the old identity, it requires here like typical coaching, a reframing, like
Mm.
you shared, of fun or pain. And of course, it presented this way like, why I take the blue pill or the red pill? Why would I choose pain? No humans, like it's wired in us, would choose deliberately pain. But there's something bigger that calls us to go through pain for, and that thing. So I would say fun or pain, it's distraction, asleep, or consciousness and alignment. Because in one, the distraction is dopamine. You had fun, and then you have a down, and then you want it again, and want it again, and want it again, and want it again. I recognize I had many, many distractions in my life to distract myself from looking inward. But one thing I can say through my journey is like you can't ignore it forever. The world will tell you, your body will tell you, some people will tell you, a death will tell you eventually. So when you have the signals, it kind of tell you it's time. So you can't distract yourself forever. It's like I can put on Netflix or play a game for 30 hours, no, like the whole day, and be in my bubble, but my body will probably die by not eating and nourishing myself. That's kind of the same idea. And I was at that event, and when some people tell me they had a heart attack a month ago, they went to hospital, or panic attack, and they kind of laugh about it. It's like, yeah, it happened, but if they keep going, it's like, I don't know, man. I think this is a pretty strong signal.
Yeah.
How is life going? Or they're on the second, third divorce with child from different families. Like, is everything okay? But for them, keep going. Nothing to examine. I'll say it also having, even affairs that they talk openly about instead of facing the problem at home. The choice is always, do I distract myself now, or do I wait for the pain to be so big that I'd rather take care of it when it's so painful and I have to clean up the whole mess of my life? And that's where the choice is of consciousness. Who do I want to be in this world? For me, I don't want to wait for the crisis to act. I want to be aware in this world. So it's like going to the gym every day, drinking water. I practice awareness, and the things I need to examine, I examine them now, not later. And yes, it is painful, but you're not alone as well doing this. So I would reframe the pain, which is more of a process, to self awareness, but also feeling in peace with yourself. You don't need to run. I don't know if right now for you, are you still chasing something like you used to? Or are you okay sitting with yourself now?
Yeah, it's been a process, but
Hmm.
I've come into the consciousness. It took me a while to understand that the fun was a distraction and do that reframing. And you're
Hmm.
absolutely right. Looking at it from fun and pain, or looking at it at distraction or consciousness,
Hmm.
it helps understand that it is the right choice. I do have a basic question because I have been thinking about this. You mentioned you want to be conscious and address what's happening before you get to a point of rupture and deep stress. Can you explain why?
Hmm.
why not have fun? And then you just hit the wall and you have to deal with it and then you have fun again.
Because that's not who I am. So it's
Mm.
not even a choice. The part when you listen to your inner voice, what is it really telling you? I know I hear that voice when, oh, I can have fun, like a one night fun, or do I sit with myself and then I am presented with a choice? But our character is also the set of our actions, right? So it's where consciousness is like, who do I want to be? Do I want to be remembered for someone who had a lot of fun and lost herself in all the entertainment of life? Or someone who did the right thing, the right choices, for integrity, like for a collective, and not just being selfish and do what I want at the cost of others. So it's more how, who do I want to be in this world? And this is like so ingrained in me that it's not even a choice at this point.
Mm. Yeah, that makes sense. It's also something that I also experienced until I started to go through my journey of isolation. So you go through that difficult journey of potentially a lot of pain, a lot of endings, finding yourself realigning, recalibrating your life, and now you want to protect that. And how do you still build deep connections with people, whether it's friends, romantic, business? How do you do that without losing yourself in other people or abandoning your dreams?
Mhm. Mhm. So it's back to self awareness. When you know yourself, you establish boundaries. I've heard, yeah, I have boundaries, and I say no. We are in a world of boundaryless people walking around. We haven't learned it in a healthy way through our upbringing because our parents have not learned. So it's kind of strange that as adults, we are learning the basic things of life, how to set boundaries, things we should have learned as babies. But anyway, so that's what's happening. That's why this whole mess, and when we work with teams, collaboration, it's all around boundaries. So back to not lose yourself when you are yourself and you are reintegrating with others, is always check in with yourself. It's a daily discipline. I'll share a discipline I have. Every day, I committed to 28 days because that's the time it takes to build a habit that is part of you, to write down what are the boundaries I will protect today. Typical things: I'm not leaving the phone in my bedroom before bed to sleep. Because if I wake up in the middle of the night, I just grab the phone and go on the phone. Or if I'm invited to a party and an event, I sit with myself for 5 minutes to ask myself, do I really want to go? And will I find the courage to say no? And so, for example, again, I was at this trip last week, the Game Executive Summit, like amazing time, great people, but it was too much for me. 30, 40 executives, 5 women at best, and men in their 50s. I'm not in my 50s, I'm in my 40s. So there was a different vibe completely, where it's heavy on alcohol, heavy on food, clubbing, partying, and so on. And I said, I won't skip the party. I go to dinner and I ask, can I have a cab to leave after dinner? I planned for it and I had a good night of sleep. Everyone was kind of a hangover the morning after. I was so happy to not be in that state. I knew I came there to that event, not for distraction, for my business. And I don't feel broken coming back from that event. But it was very strict boundaries. I set time for myself to go in the spa of a hotel instead of networking 24/7, which is very exhausting. So little things like that is like know yourself, set your daily boundaries, and honor them. And it's a daily practice. What are yours?
My boundaries
Yeah, your energy.
and to protect my space.
Mm-hmm.
And even if I meet people, because now I'm in this phase of my life of meeting a lot of new people, being very careful filtering who I will give my energy to, because I'm a natural giver and I love being with people and socializing. I love dancing and having fun, but I have to be careful that the other person is nourishing me as much
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to nourish them, and that it's a balanced energy giving. And so I'm trying to sit with myself as I meet new people, new dynamics. It's not that it has to, I think of it as an osmosis almost of energy. And it doesn't have to be always perfectly balanced, but over time, as you see that person, are you feeling like that the ebb and flow is balanced? especially in the early days of moving somewhere new. And of course, you want to grow your network, have people to do things with. It's hard to say no, but yeah, saying no to potential connections in all spheres of life that don't feel balanced. I say that's my primary one right now. And sticking to my health routine
Yes.
so
This
I
is
can stay
also
grounded.
this is also boundaries. The thing is, when you are well with yourself, you don't need to have 1,000 friends around you to feel
Hmm.
well. So the needs are actually the external needs are much smaller. It's like you are the cake. That's the best analogy I can find.
Yeah.
You are the cake, and then others are the cherry on top of the cake. That's how it should be. They are not the cake. Although I don't have 100 things to do, I'm very well connected, and it's just like I know who I am. I accepted who I am. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and like, what more do I want, And to get to that state, that's what many want, but you have to work your way to get there,
Yeah.
and it requires quite a lot of changes. Recalibrating your life doesn't look as grim as we think. The mind is creating the projection. I will end up alone. Nobody will love me. I will lose whatever security status, and in some way, yes and no, because again, yes, you will be loved by the right ones. You will find deep connections with the ones who are even more aligned, where you don't have to perform anymore. Yeah, because we perform most of the
Mm.
time. You can just be in the space. I cover as well in this work your gift, your zone of genius. If you are paid to just be, then, what more do you want in this life? There's a path for each of us, but it's a choice.
Mm.
Do we wake up or not? I'm very grateful that the women who are in, very brave ones, I must say, they felt within them there's something that needs really to recur, and I'm willing to go there. And all the things that open your journey, I've been following closely. Devon, that is opening a retreat in the US. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So not something I could have even imagined, but she's expressing herself. I know also with the current cohort, some women are discussing to build sustainable businesses, just giving themselves permission to be themselves. I think it will be better for everyone in the world as well. So I'm highly encouraging that. And for the listeners, not only for women, but once we align, we can make this world a bit more sustainable for us as a collective, rather than focusing purely on just a personal gain, which is the theme of how we live mostly these days.
Yeah, and I know you have the master class coming up for the fear of becoming you, and I thought I've been grieving a lot the years that I feel like I lost. And I know I didn't lose them. They were lessons that I needed in life to be who I am today, to be comfortable to be me. And it was a hard path, I call it. And that grief comes from I thought I was doing the work in those years. I was really focused on my career. I was focused on building a life for myself, independence. And then I finally achieved it all, and I realized how I was still sad and I still wasn't myself. And now that I'm living this path that I'm on, I realize because everything I listed was external, they were all external goals.
Hmm.
And yeah, there is a process of grief of looking back and realizing, potentially time lost.
Yeah.
There are lessons gained.
Yeah, to the point of grieving, because this work is not just mental, it's far from mental. It is deep, emotional, and somatic, physiologic, all dimensional work of all the things we suppressed for a whole lifetime. So even when you talk about grief, I see that we try to push away grief and sadness, but
Mm.
sitting with yourself and actually feeling sad, crying about things that are lost, this is the way you properly grieve. It's not by thinking about it. So this process is very healthy, things that we change over time anyway. And it's more acknowledging and letting go instead of holding into. I want what I heard also from someone saying, I want to be, what if I change, I lose the part of myself that I like? There was someone else in the circle because I'm hosting men's circle, and the other man was saying, well, the thing is, whatever you lose, it's parts of you that you needed to lose. And the part that stays are the part that actually you want. You didn't know you wanted and needed. So it's not like you lose yourself, you become more yourself through this process. The paradox is when we think of a future self, we think of a future self with a present mind. That's why we're afraid, but the future self doesn't give a shit anymore about the past self. So the
Yeah.
future self is happy where they are. So there's not the loss or, oh, I'm complaining about who I am now, because the future self is thinking very differently. They don't talk anymore about what they were afraid
Interesting.
of, because they are already in the moment. So remembering your mind is playing tricks. It's there sometimes to protect you, sometimes overprotecting you, and sometimes it's limiting you. Most of the time, it is limiting you.
Trust the body is my
Mhm.
mantra.
So that is it for today in this short episode on at least some coaching bits on wherever you are, fear of becoming you growing, which touching on letting go, grieving some old part of yourself, the tricks of the mind to prevent you from growing, but also what's coming for you if you're not examining this work. I have hundreds of anecdotes that I won't be able to share in a podcast episode. I hope you can hear as a signal to pay attention to it and don't wait for this crisis to act. In 2 weeks, on November 17th, I'm hosting a free masterclass, a 90-minute online. We are 54 women registered to go together online and deepen on that topic. Yes, what's going on for you? And please join the conversation, because no one has the answer, but as a collective, that's how we move forward together. And so we will share, listen to the stories of a fear of becoming you, and hopefully, women, you can hear from each other, giving you the courage to act after this masterclass on one thing that you were afraid of doing, but you decided to do in the end. So that's it for today, and we will connect on future themes. I have few preparing. I'll announce some of them. One is about the why from within, and another one I want to make on the wealth creation, because we don't understand how wealth works, but wealth is quite different in prosperity. So I will record also some episode on that in the future. Maria, before we close, what do you take away from this conversation?
I will let go of seeking distraction and using
Mm,
what I learned here today of the reframing. How about
right.
you?
Well, for me, I continue the path of just observing the fear of becoming myself.
Mm.
And I'm becoming a friend with that voice. So, that's what I take away, to just observe it and don't panic as you see it. Well, then we're good for today, Maria. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I'll
Thank
see
you,
you
Sophie.
in a few weeks.
See you soon.